Na Yomo Ayemwade has been in the care of older women known as godmothers for 6 years, preparing her for adulthood as a queen. Awo Opobi is one of the godmothers.
She was in school all week until the weekend when the rites were performed, and she will return to school. We've already asked permission from the school. She's a queen.
The public is still upset about the significance of the tradition, despite some Nungwa residents deem it harmless.
It is in line with tradition and it's okay.
So this is a story that broke out over the Easter holidays, and if you are not very clear about what exactly has happened, as it states on the headlines, a 12-year-old has been married, engaged, whatever, betrothed, achieved possibly in the land of Ghana, and basically that is the reaction. That is what I am reacting to. In my line of work, this is definitely a form of abuse. This is a form of, the reason why a child of that nature would need to be protected. And according to sources, that's exactly what the Ghana police did. They actually managed to be able to take that child and the mom into police protection, which, throughout this particular session, I will deem to, bring it up so that we can possibly discuss it and see how best, some of the traditions within, within the country Ghana, or maybe across the world, should be taken into consideration. The reality is we have a child in the midst of all this, and whilst we may be questioning, yes, traditions needs to be respected, we need to be looking at the well-being of a child. And if we are having a 12-year-old being betrothed or being engaged, married to a 63-year-old, the question that we need to be asking ourselves is the child really aware of what exactly is going on? As you may be seeing in the video, this is exactly the kind of procession. This is a kind of ceremony that is being organized in order for the child to be identified as a queen mother, because she's been prepared since the age of 6, or maybe as early as possible, to assume this role as a queen mother at the age of 12. But the question is it a sexual relationship which is being challenged? Let's find out.
Thank you.
So this is the ceremony itself, and it's evident, whilst gifts, presents and all that were brought to be exchanged or to be presented to the said queen mother, it is interesting where the presenter is actually talking about things relating to the ways to a man's heart. With definitely, as an adult, it tells you more if the relationship is not going to be anything but intimate. However, there's been further challenges which the community have now come up to say, no, there wasn't any intent for this relationship to be intimate. However, just like I said, if we go back to the conversations being had, there is every reason to believe that it was or it is intended to be an intimate relationship. And if a 12-year-old is going to be responsible for a 63-year-old, we need to be asking ourselves, if this is the first marriage relationship between a child, or maybe a minor and an adult, or maybe a very elderly person. As the laws of the country says, the minimum age of marriage is 18. However, in times of social media or in times where these things could come to light, we need to be asking ourselves how many other children may have possibly fallen victim where they have been married, where we've had adults sit in such sessions and actually, maybe let me use a word, push children to be formally married to elderly people or to perform some specific roles deemed to be ordained, traditional, or specific to that particular child in the name of tradition. In my line of work, this is a child protection case where social workers are responsible for the statutory responsibility of safeguarding every child in the community. However, in a country, Ghana, my understanding is that police have taken the lead role in order for them to be able to protect this said child. This has led to mixed reactions between traditional authorities and the police. However, I may want to ask the question, which one needs to reign supreme in terms of protecting of a child? Is it the responsibility of the traditional authorities, or rather cases of such natures needs to be left for the responsible organizations or bodies to actually lead and ensuring that the children or maybe the needs of the child are actually protected?
Lord, money and my young malay. We couldn't watch your low alone one pay no book. Member Badinam, Namayapi, if I get a go back. I can't no more than lines, some more, it told the case in the can, you will be main time. No one could soon get Tamakusun, every do exactly. Kaji, I feel good. When you were near Fiole, near Manchadio, Monamodio, or Family Mata, in governance, near Abahalengo, near Kalabafi, near Akao, your flow. You were carried, I call your flow. I'm not carrying I can manage you what I mean. Nimba banana can your flow, Kaji, and
There has been many justifications for the reasons why this customary rites had to be performed, specifically in order for them to be able to meet the specifications of tradition, including religion, which is equally being named. It is interesting where we need to be asking ourselves whether traditions need at some point in time to evolve. But the reality is we need to also be asking ourselves at what point in time where do we need to balance the rights of children or the right of people as against the traditions of the lands. Let me know your views, your comments. However, in my personal capacity working with young people, children, and families, I definitely hold the view that a child needs to be protected. I will find it very difficult to be convinced of the reason why a 12-year-old should have the responsibility of a 63-year-old in terms of having a marital relationship and be convinced that that relationship will be fair, will be in the interest of the child, or even in the interest of the family. Let's hear your views on that. Equally, join us on this channel. Let's celebrate Black excellence, but also let's help ourselves to be able to learn and unlearn some actions, some traditions, or some kind of systems or cultures that is definitely not in the interest of us as a people.
I wish I
Na Yomo Ayemwade has been in the care of older women known as godmothers for 6 years, preparing her for adulthood as a queen. Awo Opobi is one of the godmothers.
She was in school all week until the weekend when the rites were performed, and she will return to school. We've already asked permission from the school. She's a queen.
The public is still upset about the significance of the tradition, despite some Nungwa residents deem it harmless.
It is in line with tradition and it's okay.
Whilst members of the traditional council have come forward to debunk the fact that the relationship between this 12-year-old and the said chief has anything to do with intimacy, the validity of their claim continues to be questioned based on the fact or based on the declarations of this said leader, who continue to discuss the responsibility of the said queen, and especially going further to talk about the expectations of her role in terms of satisfying the chief as a married woman. It is really important we continue to be very honest in our discussions, and also for us to be very clear in terms of how people may end up understanding and appreciating the different traditions and values as well as cultures within our different systems. It is, however, important for us to be able to share the views of these traditional authorities, and as to the reason why, in their perception, people need to believe otherwise as compared to what is being seen on screen, as well as what is being shared on social media.
The title, Na Yomo Ayemwade, which goes with appellation Wadokunyo, says much about how far in time the office goes. The Babu deity has 4 traditional and religious wives in Nungwa alone, and they are Na Ashiele, Na Ohimia, Na Busiafi, and the final one is Na Yomo Ayemwade. The Babu deity has other wives outside Nungwa. Per our traditional and customary rites, Na Yomo Ayemwade performs a peculiar traditional role which is different from the other 3 wives.
Since the story became public, the traditional authorities have come back to debunk the fact that this young person or the said queen would have any form of intimate relationship with the supposed chief. I will definitely encourage you to also complete your own research in order for you to be able to make your own decision. However, I would support the fact that any child is being put forward for such kind of relationship, it should definitely be brought to light and the needed authorities be able to respond appropriately. I'll see you in the next video. But remember, like the video, share with somebody, subscribe in order for us to be able to continue to celebrate Black excellence. Boom.
The second wife, no Himia, she's almost 90 something years. Can one say that the Baburomo is having any what the concerns have been raised with her? Obviously no, but it's a customary duty. It's a customary duty for Na Yomo Ayemwade to perform, and that customary duty calls for a virgin.
He clarified that none of her child's rights have been violated.
Her childhood had never been denied. There are many chiefs and queens that were installed chiefs and were installed queens when they were even in their mother's belly. Their rights were never taken away. Indeed, it enhanced and gave them certain privileges which ordinary children would not even have.
The police, that the young lady who is our queen is under police protection. Therefore, if the police have remarked that she is under police protection, where again do you want to find her? But we are telling the world that she is our royal. And if the police are saying they are taking care of her, then the police must be reminded that whatever happens to her, then traditionally we will deal with the police.
The girl in question is actually 16 years old. We accept and agree that by the constitution of the land, she is underage, but she is not married to the Babu Romo as it is being stated. That is not the issue.
What's your thoughts? Let's hear in the comment section.